Chances are it's happened to you. You get a crack in your windshield and you call a glass company to replace it. Here in Massachusetts, about 350,000 windshields are replaced every year. And although it's a complicated job that requires skill and training, installers don't have to be licensed or certified. And experts say those installers are making mistakes. Mistakes you may never know about until it's too late. Jeannie Franzway was just 25 years old when her car veered off this Wisconsin road 2 years ago.
There's a really bad car accident down the road from here. There's a car rolled and another car smashed up, and it looks pretty bad.
Witnesses calling 911 couldn't find her inside the vehicle.
I have a car in the ditch, slipped. We have a shoe in the middle of the road. I don't see a passenger.
Jeannie's body was found 70 feet away, lying on top of the windshield, which had popped out as her car rolled over.
It's hard because we were all there when she died. And so no matter about all the good times that you can think of, you know, there's still a lot of pain.
Experts believe the windshield in Jeannie's car was not installed properly.
This black that you're seeing right here is the adhesive that holds the windshield into place. And you can see where it just let go. And it's not the adhesive had a problem, it's the whole installation process, the way the person used it, failed.
In crash tests like this one, you can see how the windshield will keep you inside a car. When installed properly, the windshield will deflect the airbag and keep the roof from caving in on you. But if the glass pops out, like you see here, you can be thrown from the car, which greatly increases your chance of dying. Experts tell Fox Undercover windshields are often replaced improperly because many installers are either sloppy or haven't been trained well enough. So we decided to find out for ourselves how area glass companies stack up when it comes to looking out for your safety. Fox Undercover took 3 cars and had their windshields replaced by 3 different glass companies. Time after time, we found examples of what could be a deadly problem. We watched as this installer from Executive Auto Glass gets down to business. He has no idea that one of his customers is Vincent Saluzzo, president of National Associates for Safe Auto Glass Replacement. Saluzzo says he spotted several significant mistakes.
I don't think you can do it properly out of doors, anything below 40 degrees.
And look at the temperature. When it's cold outside, it takes longer for the adhesive to dry. And when the adhesive isn't dry, your windshield isn't secure. This installer should be using a more expensive 2-part glue that dries faster. But he's not, despite a warning from the manufacturer not to use the type of glue he's using in temperatures below 40 degrees.
When they do it out of doors in cold weather using the wrong adhesive, they're compromising safety, no question about it.
And he didn't remove the cowl, the panel between the hood and the windshield. It's a shortcut Saluzzo says could cost you your life.
By having to slide it under that cowl, the bead of urethane is here and it hits on edge, and you don't get the surface to bond to that you would get if you set it down.
The installer told us our car would be safe to drive in 1 hour. But watch what happens not 1, but 2 hours later.
And I'm just going to press on the glass, and there's your windshield.
Is this windshield safe?
Absolutely not. Inconceivable to even describe it as safe. This car will not be safe to drive probably a week, 10 days, 2 weeks, maybe, who knows when.
The president of Executive Auto Glass agreed to talk to Fox Undercover about what happened, but then backed out. In a fact statement, he tells us, the technician profiled on Fox did not follow proper installation procedures. He goes on to say, we have zero tolerance for any errors of this kind. As a result, this person has been terminated. This installer from Giant Glass replaced our windshield in less than 20 minutes.
If speed is what counts, the guy was the best, world class. But I don't think speed is what counts.
What counts is safety. It's 35 degrees outside, and our expert says this installer is using the wrong kind of glue. And watch what happens when he goes to put the glass on the car. Because he didn't remove the cowl, he has to jam the windshield inside. And that means it's not as secure as it should be. The installer told us our car would be safe to drive as soon as he finished the job, and that the car would be okay as long as we didn't go through a car wash in the next 2 days. But take a look at what happens an hour and a half after our windshield had been replaced.
The rollover, no question, the roof would have crushed. Had the airbag gone off, it had gone across the street. I mean, we can virtually lift it off the car at this point.
Did this guy cut corners?
Oh, absolutely, all the way.
Would you want to be driving this car?
No one should be driving this car.
In a fact statement to Fox Undercover, the general manager for Giant Glass tells us, "We have never had an instance or problem of liability related to one of our installations." He goes on to say that OEM glass and high-quality adhesive systems were used in the installation, and the company has taken the opportunity to redouble our training efforts and reinforce to our employees that it is imperative to make sure we complete quality work. Our last windshield was replaced by this installer who works for Settles Glass. Like the others, he didn't remove the cowl, but he taped it up so it was out of the way.
This installer I thought was pretty conscientious. I thought he did the best job he could under the conditions he has to work under. One of the first things he did is warn not to drive the car for an hour and 15 minutes.
But that warning is wrong, because look what happened after we waited an hour and 15 minutes.
Clearly, that shouldn't happen.
Oh, absolutely not.
While the adhesive that was used is supposed to dry in cold temperatures, the manufacturer says the car isn't safe to drive for at least 2 hours. Fox Undercover repeatedly asked Settles for an on-camera interview, but no one returned our calls.
Overall, how would you characterize the job these companies did?
None of those cars are safe to drive, Mike. Simple as that.
And Saluzzo says the glass companies aren't the only ones to blame. He says the real culprits are the insurance companies that don't want to pay the glass companies to do the job right.
So what's the message to the insurance companies?
Wake up. You're playing with lives, not dollars.
The Automobile Insurers Bureau of Massachusetts did not want to comment on our investigation, and neither did the Massachusetts Glass Dealers Association. If you're wondering what you can do to make sure your windshield is replaced properly, there are some steps you can take. Our expert says if you need to get your windshield replaced in the winter, you should have it done indoors. Insist that a strong adhesive be used to bond the glass. Make sure the installer removes the cowl before replacing the windshield. Don't drive the car until the adhesive has fully dried. Check with the manufacturer of the adhesive to find out when your vehicle will be safe to drive. And don't let your insurance company steer you in the wrong direction. It may recommend a place that cuts corners, and that could cost you your life.